All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, great news out of the camp of Caleb Plant. Seems like a fight we've been wanting to see is gonna take place. Let's talk with a certain David Benavidez. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to talk about some great news in the 168-pound division, and that there has been a fight agreed to, according to Caleb Plant, with a one David Benavidez, the former WBC 168-pound champion. Before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon. If you are somebody that is a longtime subscriber and supporter who may be in your feelings because Bud Crawford ducked Errol Spence like star 007, man, thank you for continuing to support the channel and the super chat and the Cash App. Just kidding with all of that, but appreciate your support a lot. And in the super thanks where you can support the channel through this video. So, all right, man. This is what I'm talking about. Right when everybody is complaining about there not being big fights in the sport of boxing and things, not being able to get fights that we want to get made, in my opinion, out of the blue comes this wonderful fight between Caleb Plant, Sweet Hands Plant, and David Benavidez. I don't want to kill his nickname, Rojo, something about red, something, whatever the case is. And David Benavidez, the former two-time WBC champion. And this is a great bout for several reasons. Number one, you got Caleb Plant, who's very, very entertaining to watch. Good, definitely a good, very, very solid boxer. Coming off a spectacular knockout win over one of my favorite, grinded out type of fighters in the sport, Anthony Durrell, the brother of Andre Durrell. Sometimes I say Andre, but Anthony Durrell, the dog. Excellent fighter. In my opinion, an excellent fighter. I won't say excellent fighter, but the type of guy that's going to come, he's going to bring it, he's going to test you. He's definitely towards the end of his career, but he's a guy that always, a lunch pail type of fighter. And Caleb Plant, he delivered in that bout. I didn't think he was going to get a knockout because, I'm pretty much brushing aside Caleb Plant knocking people out like I brushed aside Devin Haney knocking somebody out. As far as that goes, I'm in the I'll believe it when I see it mode there. Both two very, very excellent fighters, but, just not somebody that I'm going to be out there predicting knockouts for. But he got that knockout with a sweet double left hook. One down low, one up top. Excellent, strong shot. Did the whole grave digger sign, all of that stuff. Really good. And then, of course, there's David Benavidez, who, in my opinion, is one of the best boxers in the world under the age of 25. And he's so good and has been at the top of that division for so long that you forget he's basically the same age as Jaron Ennis, basically the same age as a little bit younger than Gervonta Davis, right? Shakur Stevenson. He's that age of guy, very, very young, man. But unfortunately for him, in your youth, you make some mistakes. So he lost his belt one time because some stuff that he probably shouldn't have been doing. Just going to leave it at that. But, it is what it is. It's water under the bridge. And then during the pandemic, something I thought was understandable and they could have found a way to work around. He missed weight in a weigh-in, and then he got stripped because he made weight. Canelo Alvarez then moves in and gets the belt, practically handed to him. And David Benavidez has been looking, to really get on ever since then. Just recently, there was a lot of doom and gloom going on around about, David Benavidez because the bout with Jose Escudegi got canceled. Now, the justification for why his fight with Escudegi got canceled was that there was a lot of backlash related to the fact that Uskadegi had tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs before. Now, for me, I don't know. I didn't hear any outroar. I didn't hear it, but then it is, maybe it's just I was missing it, but it is what it is. Some people are saying it because they couldn't afford the fight. They're going broke. Showtime's going broke. They're going out of business. Well, depending on whether or not the Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez bout is going to be on Showtime or not, or Fox in January of next year, because actually I'm hearing basically PBC naysayers, or should I say American boxing naysayers, because that's what I really think it is. Because trust me, if PBC went out of business and then all you had was all of the PBC fighters go to Top Rank, they would just be dumping on the half of the fighters that came from the PBC. That's what I believe, because that's what they were doing before there was a PBC. You know what I'm saying? When when these guys were with Top Rank, guys like Floyd Mayweather Jr. were with Top Rank, fighting on Top Rank cards, and guys like Andre Ward were with main events, and James Toney was fighting. I can't remember exactly who James. They were dumping on those guys then. So, I don't see how PBC going out of business is, first of all, it's not going to put those fighters out of business. Those fighters are the best fighters. So they're going to get signed. They're going to go get those fights, because even if they're not making a lot of money, you're going to have to go out of your way to avoid fighting them. And that ain't going to happen because they're that good. So you're going to take that L one way or another. But regardless, I digress. The fact of the matter is, I got a lot of people saying that they're going to go out of business, and this seems like this is a pretty good fight among top level fighters. And if they get the fight done, and right now is Caleb Plant saying that it's done. If they get that bout done in 2023, we may wind up having the beginning of 2023 looking like the beginning of 2022. Now, because why people are all dumping on how we're not getting fights for the second half of the year, that's true. We've not been getting the big fights we wanted this half of the year, but that's not the case for the first half of this year. For the first half of the year, man, we were living like kings in boxing for the first half of the year with the Jamal Charlo Brian Castano fight. Errol Spence Jr. versus Yordanis Ugas. There's a bunch of bouts going on in the first half of the year. So maybe it's going to turn out that we get that. And I'm optimistic that we'll get that for the second half of the year. I really believe a reason a lot of these bouts didn't take place during this second half of the year are because of the Errol Spence Jr. Terrence Crawford negotiations. But even with that, we're going to move on and we're going to get an Errol Spence Jr. fight against somebody. I would say we'd get a Terrence Crawford bout against somebody, but that's just a trash fight. That's that David Evancian bout. That is just a trash fight. However, this right here is not a trash fight. This could be a bout between the number one and the number two and the number three guy at 168 pounds. As I just, in my mind's eye, I look at who's up at that weight class. You have the only person I say that maybe, that I would think maybe a little bit more than maybe Caleb Plant is David Morrell. We'll see what happens with David Morrell, who's the WBA regular champion and doesn't have a lot of fights under his belt, but is definitely looking very, very good. Obviously Caleb Plant had lost to Canelo Alvarez, but hey, man, it is what it is. That's Canelo Alvarez. Ain't no shame in losing to Canelo Alvarez. That don't mean you can't fight, especially when Caleb Plant looked as good as he did that entire fight. But this one, of course, I got David Benavidez in the bout, no doubt about it. However, if David Benavidez beats Caleb Plant, then I don't want to hear no nonsense. Canelo Alvarez got to go ahead and get in that ring and defend them belts against David Benavidez, because David Benavidez first of all, he already should do that. But, if he does it, he gets that done. Come on, man. Canelo, let's get a fight that we want to see. That's something else, man, that I find real interesting. People talk about how we're not making big fights, but yet you got Canelo Alvarez, who's the biggest name in boxing, ducking half a hole of two weight classes to go fight a bunch of people we don't want to see. Find some way to say that about Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford and Gervonta Davis not making these fights, but you stay real silent with all of these guys that Canelo Alvarez didn't fight. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.